Hi there. I'm here to talk about something experimental that I've been working on and that has been helping my workflows in Xano a lot. You're not looking at Xano on the screen because it's OpenCode, but OpenCode is a LLM harness and agentic development environment where we can work with any provider and any model that we want, especially if we set it up. And they also provide a server implementation, which means that it can run mostly locally on your machine. Obviously, the LLM providers are remote, but you can build on top of this any other tool set that you use. I figured out that OpenCode works quite well together with Snappy if I need to build logic in Xano, but I still don't like the fact that I am not inside of Xano while building the logic for Xano. The reason why I don't like it is that XanoScript is still in quite an early days. It's getting better and better with every release, and but there is still a bunch of syntax approaches that can be broken, and there is also a specific style how I like my endpoints to look and feel. So I like to overview what's happening. So for the above mentioned reason, I have come up with a solution personally for myself, and I hope that it's going to be helpful for you guys as well. This is actually built into my extension that I've been adding to Xano to do a bunch of smaller tweaks in terms of UI, in terms of branching and searching, inserting custom headers into the debugger, and other smaller improvements. But this is a much bigger one. What we have here on the top left side, you might not have noticed it previously. This is the Xano agent, and this is a little bit a different one, which is a CalyAgent. It's a built-in sidebar, which persists across navigation. So I could go inside of this specific endpoint and come back. The sidebar will remain and will not really move away. It will process all the discussions that it has. This is built on top of my CLI. And we have the calycode extension that you can add to your workspace and to your Xano instances through your Chrome browser or Chromium-based browsers. What you can look at here is a specific prompt that I had that I needed a waitlisting, a feature flagging, and an authentication system for this extension to work with one-time passwords, no stored passwords on the server side. And I've written out and prepared the specification for it in advance, just pasted it in here and asked it to execute it. It took it some time. It was a long discussion. I did not have to intervene into it. It was doing all by itself through the MCP support of Snappy MCP. And as a result, it came up with a bunch of endpoints, a bunch of tables, and a bunch of smaller syntax issues that I could fix quite easily and quite quickly. The good thing about this whole discussion is that really I did not have to intervene at all. It was using pretty good practices that are coming from Snappy MCP, and also it can read the patterns of your own instance since Snappy can read the other aspects of your instance. So this is where we ended up with a bunch of new endpoints, a bunch of new logic and table. It also explained where it got blocked, what it could not do through, let's say, syntax issues or other problems, which then I could easily go in and fix and review. This felt very natural to me when I was looking at it, because while it was doing this whole feature, I could already see the changes coming through instantly into the APIs and endpoints, and I could already notice some of the issues. I could prepare an answer or a prompt that will direct the LLM into the correct direction. Some useful tricks and features of this compared to other agentic environment is not only that it's inside and built inside of Xano, is that there are two different or three major agents. One is build, which actually executes stuff. One is plan, which you can use for reviewing and also just brainstorming on different features. And you can pick different LLM providers and models depending on however you set things up on your machine through OpenCode. You can go with OpenCode Go if you would like to try out a lot of open source models, or you can go with Cloudflare Gateway or directly through Codex, or what I personally like is still GitHub Copilot. So that those are my providers, and those are the features that I use when I work together with this extension. It supports multiple sessions. You can switch between sessions. It will know some sessions from your local machine if you use OpenCode in other settings. For example, I've been using OBS to record this video and I had to fix a couple of issues with Exporter. I could essentially continue from the same discussion where I left off, which is very neat because you can prepare your logic and specifications on your machine in a VS Code or the OpenCode desktop application, and then come back to Xano and work through the rest of it. It supports multiple sessions. You can rename a session to have it a little bit like more organized. That's very useful and important. You can fork off sessions. So if you think that you're at a stable point, but you want to experiment with some other approach, you can continue that in a new session, and you can have multiple sessions going along the way, which also helps in this parallel brainstorming, experimenting aspect. I tend to not go more than 2-3 because I personally cannot comprehend what's happening in that amount. But yeah, you don't have much of limits here, and they are going to be working parallelly. Every single message knows the context of this page. So right now it would know that it's on this API group. If you would be inside of an endpoint, it would know that it's inside of that endpoint, which shortens the time for discovery in terms of snappy MCP usage. If you need to focus more on the brainstorming and not to just have it as a sidebar, you can definitely do that as well. You can just make it as big as you want, and you can have a discussion that you wait, let me just search for this discussion. So you can have your whole discussion in the full size and brainstorm about anything that you need to kind of do. This supports Markdown, so that's why there is code highlighting and all the other features. It supports mermaid diagrams. I'm not sure if I'm gonna find here a mermaid, maybe at the bottom, but this is something that also made a big difference for me, that even before visualizing the logic inside of Xano, it already created me a list of like a mermaid diagram of what is going to happen, what are the features that it expects to build, and how will it build them. This really gives a chance of reviewing the plan before it even hits anything in terms of production or in terms of writing the code. Right now it is behind a waitlist flag because I am still not fully satisfied with how it works and behaves. It's an experimental phase. However, if you'd like to have early access to it, you can install this extension in your Chromium browser, then go to the settings, open the CalyAgent, sign up for the waitlist here, and I'll reach out to you to explain what are the limitations currently, and if you'd like to have an early access to it or not. See you in the next one.